up the octave. Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. In today's lesson, we'll be going over these diagrams that I made that will be available for purchase on my streaming site. So if you're a member of lwtstreaming.com, you'll be able to access these and print them out and everything. So we have the major pentatonic scale with 2 necks, and then the minor pentatonic scale, both color-coded. We'll be going over what the boxes means, the colors, how to look at combine the major and the minor, at least what they have in common, right? What the shapes are in common. Let's go ahead and jump on into this. Let's look at this major pentatonic scale pattern, and let's just start at the very top. Okay, and I'll kind of try to go slow here. If you guys don't know a lot of music theory, I'll try to explain what this means. Okay, so major pentatonic scale, and this equals, this is the first thing, R, which means root, second, which means the second of the scale, 3, which means the third of the scale, 5, which means the fifth of the scale, and 6. So with a major pentatonic scale, we're actually, it's like a major scale, right? But you're just omitting, if you notice, there is no 4 in between 3 and 5, and there is no 7, right? So root, second, third, fifth, sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Hence penta, 5-note scale. Okay, so we're in open D tuning. I didn't mention that, but D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. And what the necks are is the top neck here is the shapes, right? Notice the box, how I have them color-coded and grouped together with boxes. You have a red shape, a blue shape, and a green shape. And what happens is when you move up the octave, notice how there's the exact same shape up here. And what this is this is just the exact same notes, right, as in here, but it's just up an octave, meaning 8 notes. So what was, frets 9 to 7, add 12 to 9, and you get 21, in between frets 21 and 19. But just let's first of all just think about frets 0 to 12, but mostly let's think about the colors, the red color, the blue color, and the green color. Okay, and let me explain this neck down here, what this is. So this would be the major pentatonic scale on single strings. Notice how I have the D strings in red, right, if we're moving from left to right, right? The A strings are in blue, and then the F sharp string, the sole kind of F sharp string, is in green. And what this means down here is really, as I put here, important, right? A lot of times when you're playing lap steel, right, you're playing on one string, right? You're moving up the string, and it's good to know where you're at on this by this simple rule here. Okay, if you're moving from the root to the second to the third, the distance between these notes here is what's called a whole step. So look here on our D strings, we'll just focus on this top string. Root to the second of the scale. There's a fret in between, right? That's what this is, the fret in between. So that's a whole step. Second to third of the scale. That's a whole step, okay? But the third to the fifth of the scale, that's actually 1, 2, 3 frets, which is called a step and a half. So you have a whole step between the root, the second, and the third, and also between the fifth and the sixth of the scale. Okay, and don't think of, up here are the fret numbers, so this might be a little confusing. The big numbers up here, notice how this says frets, but think about the color-coded numbers. That's the actual intervals or the notes of the scale, right? And down here you see that there's a step and a half, which is 3 frets, not counting the fret you're on, between the third of the scale to the fifth of the scale, and then the sixth of the scale to the root of the scale. So like fret 9 to fret 12 in red here, you see that? So what I like to do is I like to, let me see, I've got this jam track here. I'll include this in the lesson too. It's in the key of D, and it kind of has this 12/8 soul thing going on. So let me play it, and I'm just going to kind of improvise a little bit using this this minor pentatonic, or major pentatonic scale pattern. Keep going up the octave. So just improvising there, not right. That's a great little jam track to do that with. And all I'm doing is I'm as you can tell, this major pentatonic scale kind of has that soulful sound. When I hear Derek Trucks play, and they're trying those slide players, bottleneck slide players, they're sounding kind of like a soul singer. I find that a lot of times this major pentatonic scale works great for that kind of a sound. So let's jump on in here to this shape right here in red. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to look at this shape and to find kind of little patterns here. Now, if you look, I've said this a lot, we have this X pattern here. Now, unlike the X pattern of the minor pentatonic that I talk a lot about, where the center of this X, right, this pattern here is the flat third, in the major, the D major pentatonic, but let's say this pattern here, the center of the X on that F sharp string, in the red pattern here, that's going to be the root of our major pentatonic scale. So the very first thing I like to do is to play, kind of combine a little bit of this blue pattern with the red pattern, where I go root on my first string, 12th fret. Now notice that's in blue, but that's okay. We're just going to move right on into the red pattern, and we're going 6th, 5th, 3rd of the scale, 2nd of the scale, root. Let me show you what that sounds like. Root. So that's up here on our 12th fret. And then I go to the 6th on the 9th fret, first string. 5th. Go to your 2nd string, 3rd, 2nd, and then root. Put that together a little smoother. Right, so that kind of gives you that sound right there. Now, what I like to do too is I like to immediately start seeing where the root notes are of each little pattern here. So let's jump on in. I think this would be the one I would learn first, the red pattern. And then I'd move to the blue pattern. This blue pattern, it's real nice because our root notes are in root position here, right? On your 1st string, 4th string, and I didn't put the 6th string in there because I'm trying to keep these patterns pretty much to strings 4 through 1. Now, if you look at this pattern closely, you got root. Now you're going to go back, but up a string, 2nd to the 3rd, go straight up to the 5th, 6th, root. This is a nice tight pattern here. It sounds like this. Think about like a bluegrass kind of like a run, like